Welcome to Sending Forms to Authentisign. If you haven't already watched Creating a Buyer Transaction, I recommend starting there. This is going to be a continuation from that. Okay, so you can see here, I'm on the page where all my forms are listed. I've already pre-filled them all in, and now I'm ready to send them off for signatures. In this scenario, I am representing the buyer, and there is another agent from Deerbrook representing the seller. So it's not a multiple rep situation, but only Deerbrook is on the listing side. There's no cooperating brokerage in this scenario. Okay, so we're going to check off all the forms that we need to send for signatures. I'm going to hit the basket and I'm going to click the pen. This will send everything listed below to Authentisign. I'll give it a second to load here. Now you'll see it's pulled all of the forms in. And so the first thing I'm going to do is enter in my signers. So if you've added your buyer in as a contact in the transaction, when you click add from transaction, you'll see everyone in the transactions listed here. You don't need to be sending to the other agent or the seller. Just send to your buyer, hit select. Now I'm going to add myself in, but I'm not going to designate a role because technically there is no cooperating brokerage. So I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to just hit the X here. Normally that is to assign roles if your buyer isn't set up as a buyer or you're not set up as a listing brokerage or whatever. If you set yourself up representing the buyer, then it'll help fill out the buyer rep agreement and all that. Actually, let's do that. We'll do cooperating salesperson. I'm only doing that so my buyer rep shows up correctly. I am going to delete out anything that goes into the cooperating salesperson sections because there is no cooperating brokerage in this scenario. Hit save. So you'll see my RICO information guide is here. And then if I keep scrolling, my buyer rep, my agreement of purchase and sale, and my confirmation cooperation. Sorry, scrolling really fast. We're going to go through all of this though. So I'm going to go down to page 13 of the RICO guide. This is the acknowledgement page. And I'm going to click tools. Now you'll see John Doe is automatically selected. I'm going to switch to me. And I'm going to put my signature as the agent representing John Doe. And then I'm going to switch back to John and I'm going to have him sign and date the acknowledgement that he's read the RICO information guide. Now you'll see John's, I don't know why all my information is missing on here. That's strange. Make sure that's all filled in before you send it off through Authentisign. I think what happened was because I didn't have myself set up as a cooperating salesperson, it deleted this information out. So just make sure you fill that in. If you don't want to go back, you can always use the text box to fill in the information that's missing. I'm just going to do the brokerage for right now. But make sure you fill in all the information here. Also, I'm going to put my name as the designated rep. Okay. Web Forms is pretty good. Authentisign is pretty good. There's just a few scenarios where when you select one thing or you have a certain scenario, it deletes out some of the information. Just try to be patient with it. For the most part, it makes things really a lot easier. But there are scenarios like this where some of the information gets deleted depending on the representation. So just verify that before you send for signatures. So you'll see John's information has been inserted under where it says buyer. It has my initials under brokerage. My name here. My name should be listed here as well. If not, you can use this signer field and just drag and drop your name. Anything that's blue or color coded in this case, like John is yellow, these are all options that will give the signer the ability to edit. So they can sign, they can initial, they can add in text, they can check off check boxes. If you want to actually edit the document, enter information, like for instance, my name is missing here, use the signer fields or markup tools down here. Okay. And then I can drag and drop my signature there. You'll see John has signed, and he's also initialed here, and I've signed. Then you'll see this is the agreement of purchase and sale. Buyer has initialed on all the pages, or they will be initialing. This is where you're assigning the initials and signatures. Here's their signature and date. I have myself here as representing buyer under the listing brokerage. No need to sign the commission trust like I had discussed earlier. They're initialing the Schedule A. Here's that confirmation of cooperation that we filled out. Again, my signature doesn't need to go here. Shane will also sign. You don't technically need to put your signature on this line. Shane will be the only one signing. But if you feel more comfortable, you can all put it on the same line. Just make sure if the agent's questioning why you're doing it this way, just explain to them with the trust change. Technically, there's no cooperating brokerage in this scenario. Okay. Now, when you're done, I always recommend going right back up to the top, review all the documents, make sure all the initials and signatures are where they need to be, and you're not missing any information. Like this all should not be blank. You should enter in all that information too. Okay, once you've verified all the information is correct, you're going to hit this next button and then hit send. It will send off to you and the buyer for signatures. Once you've both signed, you're going to get an email with the completed copy of all the forms. You can download them individually, or you can download the PDF all in one. Now, there's no need to send your buyer rep to the listing agent. So I recommend downloading just the offer and confirmation of cooperation and any attachments that go along with the offer, just to send to the listing agent. Keep the buyer documents for yourself. If the offer gets accepted, you'll be submitting those documents along with an offer info sheet to the office. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you another scenario. I'm just going to not save this because it's not needed. And I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Okay. So let's just say Shane received my offer and his clients have countered back. Okay. Save the PDF version of the counter on your computer somewhere where you'll be able to find it. Click this pen here. It's going to take you into Authentisign. From here, you're going to click add and you're going to name it whatever it is. Okay, just so you can determine what it is when you're looking for it. Hit save. And then from here, you're going to click add a document or form. You're going to click here and you're going to search for that file on your desktop and you're going to open up the offer. Okay, you're going to pull it in and you're going to make any changes and you're going to attach all of your initials and signatures where they need to go on that file. Okay, then you send off for signatures and then when it comes back, you can send it back to Shane, whether it's another counter or an acceptance. Okay. Now, you can also, if you're working on something, you can hit the save button, save it, and come back to it. When you go back to your list of transactions, you'll see there are drafts, and you can go back in and finish whatever you're doing. So don't be alarmed if you're in the middle of filling stuff out and you have to walk away. You'll be able to get back in very easily. Now, there's also an option to set up a signing order. Maybe you want to set it up so, one person signs first, then you sign it. I always find keeping this option off makes it a lot faster to get things signed properly, because not everyone's always ready to sign at the same time, and it can really delay something if one person is taking a while. Okay. Now, if I click Docs here, I can add in more forms this way as well. If you've added in one document and you have something else to add in, you can add in multiple documents. Okay, so you don't have to just have one PDF when you're doing a counter. You can upload multiple things. You've seen the tools. Once you have someone in there, you have your markup and your signer fields. Okay, you can change your text, the font style, if it's bold. You can change your highlight color, your line colors, all of that stuff. Okay. Something else that I want to show you lastly is when you're doing your text box, let me just add in a random document here. I don't really have anything on my computer at the moment. Let me see here. I'll just put a receipt on here. We'll pretend this is an offer, okay? So we'll go to Tools, and if I click Text Box here, and I click in here, make sure transparent background is turned on. This way, when you have a text box, it's not going to block out what's behind it. When you're doing counters, you don't want to block out anything from behind. You want to be able to see what it used to be, and you want to be able to follow the transition of your offer. Okay. You can save that as a default setting like I have. You can also change up your font and everything. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Same thing with your line. When you add in a line, just select the line. You can pick how thick you'd like the line. If you'd like it red or yellow or whatever color you'd like. Usually we stick with black. Save the default setting, and then it'll always be that same thickness and always the same color. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. You should be able to fully function off of just those steps. If you have any questions or you're having any issues, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to assist you. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.